Next unit is unit 3, that is trade negotiations. Basically here we are going to understand some agreements on the basis of which two countries will negotiate with each other in terms of international trading. Right? They will decide the terms and conditions in a way to increase their trade, or whenever they want they can restrict the trade. Okay? In this particular unit, you are going to study three things with me. First is the RTAs, which are regional trade agreements. Then you have GATT, General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs, and then you have WTO, that is World Trade Organization. Right? Our first focus is on RTAs, regional trade agreements. Now, there are different types of RTAs we have to study, people. These are the RTAs we'll study, somewhere around seven or eight RTAs are there. First is unilateral trade agreement, bilateral agreements, RPTA, that is regional preferential trade agreements. If you remember, we have done this part before also. Yes, preferential trade agreements, free trade areas, yes or no? Where I gave you the example of NAFTA and EU. Yes. Yes, so that same part. Then you have trading bloc, then you have customs union, common market, and E&MU, economic and monetary union. So we are going to study these 8, 2, 4, 6, 7 or 8 types of RTAs we will study here. Okay. So let us start with the RTAs. Very first RTA is unilateral trade agreement. People pay attention on the board, please. Unilateral means one side. It means an importing country offers trade incentives in order to encourage the exporting country to engage in the international economic activities that will improve the exporting country's economy. Importing country, if I am buying the goods, importing countries, I am giving incentives to the exporting country, benefits to exporting country, so that exporting country can export more, so that its economy can develop. This type of agreement is generally done between a developed country and developing country, where developed country is generally the importing country and developing country is generally the exporting country. So developed country is helping the developing country to increase the export so that its economy can develop. Are you clear? Yes or no? That is what we call unilateral trade agreement. Done? Example दिया तो. If US is helping India, US is giving subsidies and incentives to India so that India can trade more. India can come up in a better way. India can increase the trade. So in that case, so just because only US is giving incentives to India, that will be unilateral trade agreements. Clear hai? Okay. Second is bilateral trade agreement. Now, unilateral was one-sided incentives, yes or no? Yes. Bilateral will be both sides. Means what? Here, both the countries will give benefits to each other. A very fine example here is the free trade area between ASEAN and India. India is a very good friend of ASEAN countries. ASEAN as an Association of Southeast Asian Nations. It is an association where the member countries, they belong to Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia. Are we clear? So ASEAN and India. India is not the member of ASEAN first of all, but India is a very good friend of ASEAN. In fact, India has hosted many meetings of ASEAN members also. Okay, so it is like when you talk about the agreement between ASEAN and India, so So it is like ASEAN gives benefit to India to increase the exports, and India also give benefits to ASEAN to increase the exports. It means they both these associations are helping each other, giving incentives to each other to increase their international trade. That will be bilateral agreement. Are you clear? Here one term is used basically, that is bloc, BLOC. It is not BLOCK, it is BLOC. Bloc means a group of countries, an international body like SAARC, BIMSTEC, ASEAN, BRICS, G20, G10, G5, like that. So when you talk about a group of countries, an association of countries, that is what we call bloc. Are you clear? Look at the screen. So this bilateral agreement can be made between two countries, or two blocks means two associations, or one block, one country. Like if I give you the example of ASEAN and India, this is a block and this is an individual country. Are you clear? So you can make this agreement between two blocks, or two countries, or one country, one block. Are you clear? Moving on to RPTA. I think all of you understand what is RPTA. It is an agreement where the members who have signed this agreement, they have agreed to give benefits to each other, that we will charge low tariff from each other. Are you clear? Yes or no?
Bilateral agreements, no?
Bilateral agreement, yes.
These will be limited to certain goods and services.
These may be limited to certain goods and services or certain type of market entry barriers. Huh? I mean, these countries blocks can decide that okay, we will give you incentives only in these goods, only in this type of market, only in this industry. They can do it. It is up to them how they are giving the incentives. It is up to them.
Then it will not be a free trade agreement, right? It will be only for.
It will be a free trade agreement, but limited to a particular market or goods. Free trade agreement basically means that wherever is this FTA is applicable, in that area, the barriers are very less or there are no barriers. So that area can be constructed for a particular good or service, or a particular market, or a particular industry. That can be done. Was like these limits can be imposed, no problem. Are we clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
चाहिए RPTA done है. Correct. Moving on to a trading block. What is trading block? Just now we were discussing it. Look at the screen, please. Trading block, free trade area, common market, custom union. 4 RTAs are very important. So please pay attention here, everyone. Trading block. What is trading block? Trading block as a group of countries that have a free trade agreement, FTA, between themselves and may apply a common external tariff to the other countries. Means, if you people have a free trade agreement, these countries, they have free trade agreement. So whenever they will deal with themselves, either no tariff or very minimum tariff, they will decide upon one more thing. If it is a trading block, they will decide one more thing. What? If any of these, look at me, if any of these are selling commodity X to any non-member country, if any of members of this trading block sells commodity X to any non-member country, the tariff they will charge will be same for everybody. It means they will decide a common tariff which every country will charge if they sell commodity X or a particular commodity to the non-member country. Are you getting a point?
Same like most favored and preferential.
Yes, similar to that. Similar to that. Right? It is not exactly same, but yes, similar. Are you clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
The point to be noted here is that the external tariff, what tariff these countries will charge from other members, will be same for every country. It means they don't have individual control over the tariff they will charge from the non-members. Are we clear? Yes or no? Coming on to the fifth part, that is the free trade area. Sorry? हाँ.
Particular once again.
Once again, you want me to explain. अब the example is Arab League, AL, or European Free Trade Association. अब let's say in Arab League, there are 5 countries who are the members, and they are oil and petroleum exporting countries, OPEC. Are you clear? अब they decide that when they will deal with among themselves, they will either charge no tariff or very minimum tariff will be there. They also decide if they sell the oil and petroleum products to rest of the world, they will charge same tariff. Same tariff means that these 5 countries cannot change this tariff. These 5 countries, to any country, if they are selling, let's say to this country, they are selling oil and petroleum products. So any of these 5 countries selling oil and petroleum products to this country, the tariff will be same. You buy from this country, you buy from country B, C, D, E. The tariff you will pay is same. Now this may differ from country to country. Means these 5 countries charging 10% tariff from this country, when they will export these goods to some other country, the tariff might differ. They may charge 10% from country A and 20% from country B. My point is, for these 5 countries, the tariff will be same. It could be 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. मेरी बात क्लियर हुई? Yes or no? अरे yes or no? So that is trading block. Clear है? Shall I move in to the next point?
ये group of countries means कि एक group of countries इसमें 5 countries हैं. अगर one country दूसरे country को दे रही है
Among the members.
This तब same वो रहेगा.
If they do it, then there will be either no tariff or minimum tariff because it is a free trade agreement. If these countries sell goods to some other countries, then for these 5 countries, the tariff will remain same for the rest of the world. पांचों की पांचों कंट्रीज 20% ही चार्ज करेंगी इस कंट्री से. What amount?
20% for this country is different amount.
Sir, I'm talking about the tariff rate. Tariff rate will be same. Amount might differ, but tariff rate will be same. Getting my point?
Yes.
Talking about the free trade area. Read it very carefully with me. It says, it is a group of countries that eliminate all tariff and quota barriers. It means group of countries where they have decided, guys, look at me. Either you read or you understand. FTA says that this group of country have decided that they will not charge any tariff or they will not impose any quota among themselves. Only the member countries of FTA. Clear hai? That they will eliminate all tariff and quota barriers on trade with the objective of increasing exchange of goods with each other. Only with members, not the non-members, only with the members. The trade among the member states flows tariff free, but the members states maintain their own distinctive external tariff with respect to imports from the rest of the world. Means within ourselves we will not charge any tariff, right? But if this country is buying, I'm giving you a wholesome example. If this country buys commodity X from any of the member countries, tariff will be 0. If this country is selling the commodity X to any of the member countries, tariff will be 0. No tariff, no barrier. But if this country is selling commodity X to any non-member country, then this country will charge tariff. Yes or no? Now in trading block I told you the tariff rate was same. Here every member country will have a choice to charge different tariffs from the non-member countries. Are you getting a point? In other words, the members retain independence in determining their tariff with non-members. Example, ASEAN India Free Trade Agreement is a free trade area among the 10 member states of Association of Southeast Asian Nation and India. It came into force on 1st August 2005. It means whenever India and ASEAN will trade for the goods, there is no tariff. But if the same commodity India sells to some other country, India will charge tariff. ASEAN sells it to some other country, ASEAN will charge tariff. How much tariff India will charge, how much tariff ASEAN will charge, it is their own choice, own decision. In trading bloc, every member country was collectively deciding how much tariff should be charged. In the free trade area, they are not deciding it collectively, it is their individual decision. Do we understand this thing? Yes or no? Any doubts, any confusions? Clear hai? Talking about a custom union now. A custom union is a group of countries that eliminate all tariffs on trade among themselves but maintain a common external tariff on trade with countries outside the union. The common external tariff, which distinguishes the customs union from a free trade area, implies that generally the same tariff is charged wherever a member imports goods from outside the custom union. The EU is a custom union. Its 27 member countries form a single territory for custom purposes. Other examples are Gulf Cooperation Council, Southern Common Market, that is Mercosur. Okay, now try and understand this thing. Custom union says again what they will do, they will eliminate all tariffs on trade among themselves. But when they will trade with the non-members, they will maintain a common external tariff on trade with the countries outside the union. Are we clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Sure? It is almost same as the trading block. It is almost same as the trading block. In trading block, what was happening? External tariff was same. In free trade area, external tariff was different. Are you clear? In custom union, again, the external tariff is same. Are you clear? The common external tariff which distinguishes the custom union from a free trade area implies that generally the same tariff is charged wherever a member imports goods from outside the custom union. It means if a member country of custom union is importing goods from the outside union, then the import rate for every member country will remain same. It means whatever tariff this country will decide with me, and I am the member of custom union, whatever this country has decided the tariff rate with me, this tariff rate applies to all of the members. It means me, who am I? Member of custom union. I am importing commodity X from this country and we have decided 5% tariff, right? And if this is the custom union, whichever country imports commodity X from this country, tariff rate will remain same, 5% only. Are we clear? Yes or no? That was custom union. Talking about common market. Understand this thing again very carefully. Common market deepens a customs union by providing for the free flow of output and of factors of production. Abhi here we are talking about input, import. Ab here we are talking about the output. Here we are talking about the output. It says common market deepens a custom union by providing for the free flow of output and of factors of production by reducing or eliminating the internal tariffs on goods and by creating a common set of external tariffs. It means in common market, the tariff among ourselves either will be no tariff or will be very less tariff. chances of no tariff are less. The chances that we charge each other at a minimum rate are more. Are we clear? By reducing or eliminating the internal tariff, but by creating a common set of external tariff. Difference between custom union and common market is like, here the free flow is in inputs. I mean, when we import the goods, there is a free flow. But here it is talking about the export of goods. Export of goods is free flow. Are we clear with things? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That is common market. It says the member countries attempt to harmonize some institutional arrangements and commercial and financial laws and regulations among themselves. There are also common barriers against the non-members. It means together we will decide that when we will trade with the non-members, what barriers we will impose. That will be common for all of us. Are you clear? Custom union, free inflow. Common market, free outflow. Are we clear? Last RTA says economic and monetary union. E and MU we call it. देखिए अभी we were discussing that whenever we have to trade, whenever there is a trade between two countries, they need foreign exchange to do the trading. Yes or no? Now, which currency will be used to do the foreign exchange? What will be the supply of that currency? That thing will be decided by E and MU, Economic and Monetary Union. Let us read once. E and MU says, for a common market, the free transit of goods and services through the borders increases the need for foreign exchange. अब since there is no restriction on the transaction of the goods in common market, free flow है ना? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
In that case, what happens? Since there is no tariff, there is no quota, it is a free flow. The number of times you transact, it means you need more foreign exchange. You need more foreign exchange. So increases the need for foreign exchange operations and results in higher financial and administrative expenses of firms operating within the region. The next stage in the integration sequence is formation of some form of monetary union. In an economic and monetary union, the members share a common currency. We share a common currency that whenever we trade among each other, we will use this currency only. For example, US dollars. Are we clear? Adoption of common currency also make it necessary to have a strong convergence in macroeconomic policy. For example, the European Union countries implemented and adopted a single currency. Ab EU countries, what they have done? EU countries have adopted a single currency whenever they will transact. This makes it easy for them to control the foreign exchange. It makes it easy for them to do the transactions easily. The accounts are prepared easily. The records are prepared easily because the currency which is being used is a single currency. Now, India being a multi-trading country, it's like we trade with this country also, this country also, this country also. And every time we trade is like in different currencies we are trading. Yes or no? So when we are trading with country A, B, C, and we are using 3 different currencies, it is very difficult for us to maintain a common record. Yes or no? Every time we have to change the amount into the foreign exchange value, whatever the exchange value is. Yes or no? It makes it difficult for us. Correct. So that is the reason when we trade, we try to adopt a common currency, and that common currency is managed by Economic and Monetary Union. Are we clear? Yes or no? So that was the last RTA we had studied. Correct? Okay, well, so this is about the GATT, that is the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. As we've already discussed, that GATT is it was the predecessor of WTO. I told you before also that when the countries initially met with each other to start the international trading, they have signed an agreement according to which they used to decide that how do they trade, how do they decide the tariffs. Okay. So the agreement according to which they were deciding the tariffs and the trade cut terms, that agreement was known as GATT. So it used to cover all international trade in goods, only in goods. Are we clear? The working of the GATT agreement are the responsibility of the Council for Trade in Goods, which is made up of representatives from all WTO member countries. Means in GATT, the like how the GATT will work, right? Who will decide it? There was a Council for Trade in Goods which was made, and this council used to be controlled by all the representatives of member countries. I mean, all the countries who have signed this agreement, their representative, they were in this council to control and to make sure that this GATT works in a correct manner. Are we clear? In fact, whatever types of goods used to be traded, like it could be agriculture, market access, subsidies, anti-dumping measures, and so on, for every subject, for every particular area in GATT, for every particular area, there was a different committee which used to specifically oversee that the things are working fine as per the GATT or not. Are we clear? For every area, like for agricultural goods, one committee. To see dumping should not happen, one committee. To see that all the rules are followed by all the countries specifically, one committee was formed. So there were different committees which were formed for every subject. Are we clear? Yes or no? Also, reporting to the Good Council are a working party on state trading enterprises and the Information Technology Agreement Committee. So there was an ITA also, that is Information Technology Agreement Committee, which used to follow all the technological related work. Technology related work used to be controlled by ITA, that is Information Technology Agreement Committee. It means how the countries will pass on information to each other, how countries will communicate with each other, how they will trade with each other technologically, any technique which is required, how they will make the payment, how will they pass on the information, etc., etc. For this purpose also an ITA was formed, that is Information Technology Agreement Committee. What I'm trying to say, for every subject a separate committee was there. Are we clear? Yes or no? It says in 1980s, all the member countries of GATT, they thought that now GATT is no more relevant. Why? Because there were many complexities in GATT, there were many loopholes of GATT, there were many drawbacks of GATT. What were the drawbacks? First, it was obsolete to the fast evolving contemporary complex world trade scenario characterized by emerging globalization. As and when market was growing, as and when the scope of market was expanding, GATT was not that much capable that it could be so dynamic that it could adapt all the changes in it. It means GATT was very old fashioned. It didn't have capabilities to deal with the new things. Are we clear? Second point says international investments had expanded substantially. International investments were increasing day by day, and GATT did not have any arrangement to deal with such large number of investments. So in that level also it was obsolete. Are you clear? Third point says intellectual property rights and trade in services were not covered by GATT. As I told you, GATT was only for goods. So GATT did not cover two things: IPRs. What are IPRs? Copyright, patent, and trademark. And second thing is services. These two things were not covered under GATT, which was a problem. Right? Then world merchandise trade increased by leaps and bounds and was beyond its scope. Merchandise trade, textile trade, merchandise trade increased with a very high percentage which was beyond the control of GATT. So GATT did not had arrangements to control that large scale business. Are we clear? Yes or no? Second last is the ambiguities in the multilateral system could be heavily exploited. The terms conditions on which GATT was formed, those term conditions were not so powerful that it could be applied in a very correct manner. It means there were many loopholes in those terms conditions which could be like the countries were taking the misadvantage of the things. They were exploiting the very lenient rules regulations of GATT. Are you clear? The rules and regulations were very lenient. Are you clear? Last point says, second last, I think we have two more points here. Efforts at liberalizing agricultural trade were not successful. GATT could not make it easy to do trading on agricultural goods. So that was again a very big problem for us. Clear hai? There were inadequacies in institutional structure and dispute settlement system. So there was no DSS. DSS is dispute settlement system. In case of any dispute between two or more countries regarding their trade, there was no such system which could help those countries to settle their dispute. Clear it now? Last point says it was not a treaty and therefore terms of GATT were binding only insofar as they are not incoherent with the nation's domestic rules. It was not a treaty. What is treaty? Treaty means contract. It was not a contract. It was simply like MOU. What is MOU? Memorandum of Understanding. It means GATT was like that, okay, we will do this thing, you will do that thing. Agreement in the form of MOU. MOU का scope is bit limited. When that agreement is made in form of contract, then the scope increases. This agreement was made as an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, that you will do this thing and I will do this thing. Okay, guys, the next is the Uruguay round. A very, very, very important round of meetings where WTO was established. If you remember, I told you before also that there are two rounds we will study which are very important for us, Uruguay and Doha round. Yes or no? Doha round was the round of meeting, fourth ministerial meeting of WTO. Like when the members of WTO, they met for the fourth time. Right, that was in Doha. Sir, why we are talking about the fourth meeting only? We will discuss right now. The fourth meeting was very important because the issues which were discussed there in the fourth meeting were really very important. Before that, we have to study the Uruguay round. Now, what happened in Uruguay? Something which changed the face of the world trade. Right? So, in Uruguay round, what happened? WTO was established. How it happened? Let us see. It says the need for a formal international organization which is more powerful and comprehensive was felt by many countries by late 1980s. By the time late 1980s arrived, every country was of view that there should be another organization which is more powerful, which is more dynamic, which is more new as compared to GATT. That is the reason, having settled the most ambitious negotiating agendas that covered virtually every outstanding trade policy issue, the Uruguay round brought about the biggest reform of the world's trading system, which actually changed the face of the world trading. After this view of many countries, in Uruguay, meetings were conducted by all the member countries of GATT and they decided something which shook the world trading system. What happened? Members established 15 groups to work on limiting restrictions in the areas of tariffs, non-tariff barriers, tropical products, natural resources products, textiles and clothing, agriculture, safeguards against sudden surges in the imports, subsidies, countervailing duties, trade-related intellectual property right restrictions, then trade-related investment restrictions, services, and 4 other areas dealing with GATT itself, such as the GATT system, dispute settlement procedure, and implementation of the NTB, non-tariff barrier codes of the Tokyo round, especially on anti-dumping. in these meetings, what happened in this Uruguay round wala meeting, it is saying that 15 groups of work were established. 15 group of people were made and they started working. These 15 groups started working on different areas so that they could decide that if they have to bring a new and a strong organization on the level of world trade, they should make all the preparations first. So for preparing all the things, all the 15 group of members were made and they started working on these areas. Are we clear? Once they were done with their work, the round started in Punta del Este of Uruguay in September 1986. Punta del Este in Uruguay is a small city which is located in the southeast region of Uruguay. It is on the Atlantic coast actually. एक beach है, it is a kind of beach, right? So Punta del Este in Uruguay in September 86 was scheduled to be completed by December 1990. However, due to many differences and especially due to heated controversies over agriculture, non-consensus was arrived at. Finally, in December 93, the Uruguay round, the 8th and the most ambitious and the largest ever round of multilateral trade negotiations, in which 123 countries participated, was completed after 7 years of elaborated negotiations. The agreement was signed by most countries on April 15, 94 and took effect on July 1st, 95. It also marked the birth of the WTO, which is the single institutional framework encompassing the GATT as modified by the Uruguay round. Guys, in Uruguay round, there were many difficulties to set up the WTO. But after all the efforts of all the countries, at last, on 15th April 94, the agreement was signed that GATT has to be replaced. And this agreement was executed on 1st July 95 and on the same day, 1st July 1995, WTO was born. And it came as the successor of GATT and started controlling the world trade. Understood? Everybody, yes? Sure? WTO. WTO. The WTO is the only global international organization dealing with the rules of trade between nations. WTO is dealing with what? WTO is dealing with the rules which will be followed by 2 or more nations to do the international trading. Are we clear? At its heart are the WTO agreement negotiated and signed by the bulk of world's trading nations and ratified in the parliaments. But in WTO there are 124 members approximately, I think. 123, 124 members are there in WTO. So this agreement was signed by 124 members, member countries, and they started following all the rules of WTO to do the international trading. The goal was to ensure that trade flows as smoothly, predictably, and freely as possible. The main goal of setting up WTO was very simple, that the international trade should be very smooth. Are we clear? The principal objective of the WTO is to facilitate the flow of international trade smoothly, freely, fairly, and predictably. The world trade should be smooth, free, fair, and predictable. Predictable basically means that we can guess that what is going to happen now. Are we clear? Yes or no? 164. All right. The number is 164. The number is 164. Are you clear? 6 main objectives of WTO are here. Let us read them. Six key objectives are: first, to set and enforce rules for international trade. You should set the rules and you should apply those rules for international trade. Second, to provide a forum for negotiating and monitoring further trade liberalizations, to provide a platform for all the member countries so that they can sit, discuss, and make the trading easily. They can work on trade liberalization, they can make the trade easy. Then to resolve any trade dispute, which was the problem of GATT. To increase the transparency of decision making process, how decisions are taken, what decisions are taken, everybody should know it. So the process of taking decision should be transparent. Are we clear? Then to cooperate with other major international economic institutions involved in global economic management, that is, apart from WTO, whatever other organizations are working to promote the international trade. So WTO should shake hands with those organizations and should try to explore more options to increase the world trade. Are you clear? Yes or no? Last says to help developing countries benefit fully from the global trading system. WTO also focuses on helping the developing countries so that they can develop at a faster rate and they can come up at the world trading system. Are you clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. So transparency.
Transparency means that everything should be clear. Everybody should know what is happening. That is what we call transparency. It means we are not taking decisions, we are not hiding anything from you. We are just being open.
सबके लिए या फिर जो
Member countries. Are we clear? Guys, where are these objectives written? In the preamble of the WTO agreement? Whatever agreement is signed by the member countries of WTO, or there, all these objectives are written. Let us just read this one also. It says, the objectives of WTO agreements as acknowledged in the preamble of the agreement creating the World Trade Organization include, the objective of WTO includes what else? First, raising standard of living. The member countries, the people should live a healthy life, a good life. Ensuring full employment, increasing the level of employment, and a large and steadily growing volume of real income. Income should increase. Effective demand should be very effective. Expanding the production of and trading goods and services. Ab dekhiye, in GATT only goods were included. In WTO, goods and services are included. Yes or no? Increasing the trade of goods and services. The WTO, whose primary purpose is to open trade for the benefit of all, does its functions by acting as a forum of trade, negotiations among member governments, administering trade agreements, and reviewing national trade policies, assisting developing countries in trade policy issues through technical assistance and training programs, and cooperating with other international organizations. If any time any country feels stuck, is not able to grow, is not able to develop, in that case WTO is standing with that country with all the types of help so that that country could easily develop, so that that country could do very easy trading. And for that, if WTO has to consult other international organization, WTO will do that also. Are we clear? Yes or no? So guys, that was WTO. Guys, we have this Doha round. Acha, this is like this Doha round, which is formally known as Doha Development Agenda, which is the 9th round since the Second World War, was officially launched at the WTO's 4th Ministerial Conference in Doha, Qatar in November 2001. I told you that this is the 4th Ministerial Conference what happened in Doha. After Second World War ended, since then it is the 9th meeting, which was the 4th Ministerial Conference of WTO. In this meeting, when all the WTO members met in November 2001, Doha, Qatar, this meeting ka main motive was this: the round seeks to accomplish major modifications of the international trading system. How? This round was focused on increasing the efficiency of trading system. How? By first, by lowering the trade barriers and revising the trade rules. Barriers should reduce and trade rules should be updated. Then it says the negotiations included 20 areas of trade, including, these negotiations, the trade rules which were revised, the barriers which were reduced, they were done in 20 areas, which were agriculture, services trade, market access for non-agricultural product, which is known as NAMA, trade in services, trade facilitation, environment, geographical indications, and certain intellectual property issues. The most controversial topic in the Doha agenda was the agriculture trade. I hope you can understand why the most controversial round was agriculture trade, because in GATT, if there were no arrangements for something, it was agriculture trade only. So when in this meeting, when the member countries of the WTO, they met in Doha, Qatar in November, so they focused on these issues, but the major issue was the dealing of agriculture products. That is the agriculture trade. Are you clear? So, but this was the Doha round of WTO. Clear right now? We are going to study about WTO agreements now, right? This is the last possible topic of the international trade what we are doing, right? So in this particular point, what we are going to understand, we are going to study different types of agreements what are made between the member countries of the WTO. Okay, so everybody look at the screen. So it says WTO agreements cover goods, services, intellectual property, and the permitted exceptions. If you remember, in GATT, only goods were covered, services, intellectual property rights were not covered. So in WTO, whatever agreements we make, those agreements will cover what? Goods, services, and intellectual property, and some other types of other types of agreements also. Now it says these agreements are often called as WTO's trade rules, and WTO is often described as rule based, a system based on rules. Means it is trying to say that whatever agreements are made between the member countries of WTO, whatever agreements we will make here between the member countries of WTO, those agreements will form the basis of trade. Basis of trade means on the basis of those agreements only the trading will be conducted. Are we clear? So whatever rules will be whatever rules will be written, whatever terms and conditions will be there, on the basis of which these WTO agreements are formed. These WTO agreements are formed, they will be known as WTO's trade rules, because on the basis of these rules only WTO will conduct its trade. Are you clear? Yes or no? These will be known as WTO's trade rules, because on the basis of these trades only WTO will conduct its trade. Are you clear? Sure? There are some of the agreements we have to study. The very first agreement, it says, so it says following are the important agreements under WTO. Since a thorough discussion on the feature of each agreement is beyond the scope of this unit, only the major provisions are given below. See, it is saying that all the types of agreements we cannot study here. Obviously, that is the reason what we have done is we have taken few agreements for the explanation, right? And these are the major ones. These are the major types of WTO agreements what we make and we use as the basis of considering the rules of WTO trade. Are we clear? First says Agreements on agriculture aims at strengthening GATT disciplines and improving agricultural trade. It includes specific and binding committees made by WTO member governments in the three areas of market access, domestic support and export subsidy. So very first agreement is on the basis of agriculture, where we are strengthening the GATT ka agreement. I mean, in GATT there was a this GATT ka agreement was lacking on the rules of agricultural products. So in WTO we make one type of agreement basis on the agricultural goods and services. Yes or no? For like in this agreement, what WTO member governments will do, they work in three areas. First is the market access. It means they give a good access of market to the WTO member countries that they can come and trade in those markets. Second is domestic support. The member governments, what they do, they provide domestic support to each government for trading. And third is export subsidies. It means whenever there is agricultural trade involved, the countries will get subsidies in exporting the agricultural goods. It is just to promote the agricultural trade. Are you clear? So this is the first type of agreement which is based upon the agriculture. Are you clear on this? Second, we have already studied before, that is the SPS measures. If you remember, agreement on the application of sanitary and phytosanitary measures, where what do? Where we establish multilateral frameworks for the planning, adoption and implementation of sanitary and phytosanitary measures to prevent such measures from being used for arbitrary or unjustifiable discrimination or for camouflage restraint or international trade, and to minimize their adverse effect on the trade. You remember SPS measures? SPS measures were like they should not be animal tested, the goods should not be animal tested, they should not disturb the ecology, they should not create the pollution, etc., etc. Right? So the second type of agreements are the agreements on the basis of SPS measures, so that the international trade is not going adverse. I mean, these are the agreements so that we don't trade in those goods which are disturbing our ecology, which are creating the pollution. So we should take care of all the kingdoms. We should take care of the animal kingdom, we should take care of the plant kingdom, and we should also maintain a balance between ecology. Are we clear? This thing we have already done before also, right? Third is MFA, what we call multi-fiber agreement. Sorry, multi-fiber arrangement also you can say. It's like agreement on textiles and clothing replaced the multi-fiber arrangement which was prevalent since 1974 and entailed import protection policies. ATC, that is agreement on trade in textiles and clothing. ATC provides that textile trade should be deregulated by gradually integrating into GATT disciplines over a 10-year transition period. So it's like agreement on textile and clothing has replaced what? MFA. So before we used to make MFA, the agreement for textile and clothing, we used to make multi-fiber arrangement, but now there is a new name for this arrangement, for this agreement, that is the agreement on textile and clothing. Are you clear? It is the agreement which is basically made for the trade of specifically or for the trade of textiles and clothing. That is it, nothing else. Are you clear? Fourth is on the agreement on the TBT. We have done this TBT also, if you remember. You remember technical barriers of trade, right? So it is to prevent standards and conformity assessment systems from becoming unnecessary trade barriers by securing their transparency and harmonization with international standards. So what we are doing is we are trying to standardize the trade. Means we are trying to say that the trading of those goods should be promoted which are meeting the particular standards of the quality, right? Up now, if we set up the standards of quality, different standards for different countries, then there could be a problem. That is the reason what we have done for these agreements. We have set up some international standards which are same for every country. Means every country has to follow the international standards while trading among the goods and services. That is it. Do we understand this thing?
Yes, sir.
People, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Then fifth is agreement on trade related investment measures. It says, in short, we call it TRIMS. So it says agreement on TRIMS expands disciplines governing investment measures in relation to cross border investment. Remember, we were discussing about FDI and FPI. So, what do you mean by cross border transactions? Cross border investment means that one country is investing its resources in so one country is investing its resources in the rest of the world. Cross border transactions. Are we clear? So TRIMS are basically the agreements which set up the rules and regulations for the purpose of cross border investment. It means when one country will invest resources in the other country, on what were the conditions, what will be the terms, what will be the rules and regulations on the basis of which this cross border investment will be done. Are we clear? So all those rules will be done under TRIMS. It says it stipulates that countries receiving foreign investment shall not impose investment measures such as requirements, conditions and restrictions inconsistent with the provisions of the principle of national treatment and general elimination of quantitative restrictions. What we are trying to say, we are saying that whenever this investment will happen, cross border investment will happen, the country who is receiving the investment shall follow TRIMS. Shall follow TRIMS. That country should apply only those rules and regulations on cross-border investment which are written under TRIMS. Are you clear? They should not try to make their own new regulations which are not the part of TRIMS. Are you clear? So these are the general agreements. Are you clear with this thing? Next, agreements are on the basis of anti-dumping. I mean, countries will make the agreements to stop the dumping of goods from one country to the other, because dumping has a very negative effect. What is the negative effect? The dumping is going to destroy the domestic market of the other country. So that is the reason what we do. Many countries they form an anti-dumping agreement, which is basically formed for the purpose of stopping dumping of goods and services. Are we clear with the things? Yes or no? Seventh is customs valuation agreement specifies rules for more consistent and reliable customs valuation and aims to harmonize customs valuation system on an international basis by eliminating arbitrary valuation system. Arbitrary valuation system should be stopped, and we should replace the arbitrary valuation system on the basis of the customs valuation system. Simply speaking, that whatever tradings you will do, you will follow the custom of the particular country with which you are trading with. I mean, how trading is conducted in that particular country, you should follow that base first. I mean, you cannot simply say that we will do the trading like that only. Are you getting a point? So we have to follow the customs, the way of trading of that particular country also. Are you clear? Then we have pre-shipment inspection, PSI. What is pre-shipment inspection? Pre-shipment inspection says that whenever the goods are imported in one country, before those goods are delivered in this country, the shipment should be inspected. Shipment should be examined. It says it intends to secure transparency of pre-shipment inspection, wherein a company designated by the importing country conducts inspection of the quality, volume, price, tariff classification, custom valuation, etc. of merchandise in the territory of the exporting country on behalf of the importing country's custom office and issue certificates. Now what happens? Let us say the goods are moving from US to India. So whoever is importing goods in India, no, this person, this body, this company will appoint one company in US. Right. Now this company in US will work on behalf of the company in India. Now what this company in US will do? This company in US will will inspect the goods before they are put into the shipment, before they are loaded on the ship, or whatever by whatever means you are transporting the goods. So before the goods are packed and loaded on the ship, those goods will be inspected, that whether the goods are actually those goods which were ordered or not, whether the quantity of the goods is okay, the volume of goods is okay, the price of goods is okay, the bill is okay, the tariffs are charged according to the agreement, yes or no. So when one company in foreign country which is appointed by the country, which is appointed by the company in the importing country, means a company in India is importing a company in US to inspect the shipment before it is sent to that company. Right? So this agreement between India ka company and the US company who will inspect the shipment on behalf of Indian company, this agreement is what we call agreement on pre-shipment inspection, PSI. Are we clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Agreement on rules of origin. This also we have studied once. I told you, no, that sometimes countries may put a ban on the goods on the basis of the origin. Like that, we can put a ban that we will not import goods made in China. So it's like it is not that we will not buy goods from China. It is like we cannot buy the goods made in China from any country in this world. So sometimes the agreements on the basis of rules of origin are also signed between the countries. Are we clear? Then we have agreements on import licensing procedure, which relates to simplification of administrative procedure and to ensure their fair operation, so that import licensing procedure of different countries may not act as a trade barrier. It means one company of a country is eligible to import goods from the other country or not. This eligibility criteria should be prefixed, so that everybody knows that what procedure they should follow to import the goods from one country to the other. So when there will be one procedure, when there will be a common procedure, it will be easy for everybody to follow it consistently and import the goods easily. Are we clear? Yes or no? Then 11th says, the agreement on subsidies and countervailing measures. You remember anti-dumping duties and countervailing duties we studied together.
Yes, sir.
Anti-dumping duties are the duties against the dumping of goods. Countervailing duties are the duties against the lower price of the goods. And why the price was low? Just because the country of that the country of that particular seller was supporting that person. Yes or no? देखिए, whatever is happening, we understood one thing. It is anti-dumping or it is countervailing, right? Why these duties are imposed? To protect the domestic market. Yes or no? Hana? So these are those agreements only. I mean, on what basis subsidies will be provided? How will you apply countervailing measures? For that, when you make the agreements, those agreements are known as agreement on subsidies and countervailing measures. So why we are making these agreements? We are making these agreements just to save our domestic market. Are we clear? We have studied this before only. Next says, agreement on safeguards clarify disciplines for requirements and procedures of imposing safeguards and related measures, which are emergency measures to restrict imports in the event of sudden surge in imports. Now, 12th agreement says that we are making an agreement whereby we are deciding that in case of any emergency where imports are, they have increased to a very great level, at that time we should cut down the imports. Otherwise, what will happen? If we don't cut down the imports from the other country, no, dependency will increase. And that situation might go against our country, yes or no? Hana? So, when to put the safeguard measures, how to protect our domestic market, right? When to stop importing, when to cut down the import. On these things, when we will do the agreements, those agreements will be known as agreements on safeguard. Are we clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Safeguard means protecting. You are protecting domestic market. Are we clear with the things? 13 says GATS. That is General Agreement on Trade in Services. अभी देखिए, before we have said it, GATT, G-A-T-T, General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs. This is GATS, General Agreement on Trade in Services. That was only for good. This is only for services. Right? It says this agreement provides the general obligations regarding trade in services. It means how will you trade in the services? On what terms, conditions two countries will trade in the terms of services. All those terms, conditions, regulations, rules will be written under GATS. Are we clear? The example written very clearly. It's like how most favored nation treatment will be given. How will you maintain the transparency? How will you deliver the services, etc., etc. All the rules, regulations are written under General Agreement on Trade and Services. Are you clear with these things? Then we have TRIPS. If you remember in GATT, what was the problem in GATT? Why GATT lost its relevance? Because it was not covering agricultural trade, was not also covering intellectual property. Yes or no? So TRIPS is for that. It is not TRIM, it is TRIPS. That is Agreement on Trade Related Aspect of Intellectual Property Right. It means if one country has a patent over a particular product, if one country has a copyright over a particular literature work, if one country has a particular trademark on a particular thing. So when intellectual property rights are there, how two countries will share their intellectual property rights? On what basis they will share their intellectual property rights? On what terms and conditions they will give intellectual property rights to the other person? It means on what basis one country who is having the patent will give permission to the other country to produce the same product. All those terms, conditions, rules, regulations will be written under TRIPS. Are we clear?
ये सर्विसेज और आईपीस के अलग अलग टैग भी बनाए गए थे।
For yes, for services there are separate agreements. For intellectual property rights there are separate agreements.
गैट्स में उसमें जनरल एग्रीमेंट टैरिफ उसमें टैरिफ में तो नहीं था ना, तो फिर बाद में डब्ल्यूटीओ में इंक्लूड हो गया था।
सर वही तो बात कर रहे हैं हम भी कि in GATT we were not talking about agricultural products, we were not talking about intellectual property rights, but in after the implementation of WTO, after the formation of WTO, we have started making the different agreements on services, intellectual property rights, agricultural goods, etc., etc. That is what we are studying. Sir, WTO is a World Trade Organization. In this organization, there are a number of countries. So they will make the agreements only, no, before trading. They will make the agreements so that on these basis we will do the trading. So वही agreements पढ़ रहे हैं. 15 point says TPRM, that is the Trade Policy Review Mechanism. This is something which is very important. You remember I told you that WTO keeps on meeting ministerial conferences. 4th ministerial conference Doha round we have also studied. है ना? So what did we understood in that particular thing? I told you that every year almost WTO members will meet with each other so that they can review their policies, like whatever policies they have made for trading goods and services, whether those policies are okay for today's time or not. Is there any change which has to be made? If there is any change has to be made or anything new has to be done, then they will meet and they will do the changes. It means they have formed a mechanism, they have formed a system in which what they do, they review the trade policies from time to time. Okay, in this system, they have formed a group of people, a board, Who will do all these things for WTO? That board, basically in that board there are a number of representatives representing their respective countries, and they sit, they meet and they decide together, is there any requirement of change in the trade policy or not. If there is any requirement, the changes are made. That board is what we call Trade Policy Review Board, TPRB. The system is known as TPRM, Trade Policy Review Mechanism. TPRB is Trade Policy Review Board. Are we clear? Yes or no? Last is plurilateral trade agreements. Okay. It says multilateral negotiations are those negotiations involving the entire WTO contracting parties. The plurilateral trade agreements involve several countries with a common interest but do not involve all WTO countries. Not all plurilateral agreements are negotiated within the WTO framework. Beta dekhiye, when you talk about multilateral negotiations, where many countries are involved in the negotiation. In multilateral negotiations, you will find these negotiations are done between WTO का member countries only. Right? देखिए, WTO is formed to maintain the trade and regulations, the regulations on trade, correct? And there are a number of member countries of WTO, correct? अब they are the member of WTO, that does not mean that they cannot trade with those countries who are not the member of WTO. Yes or no? But if these are the countries members of WTO, it does not mean that they will trade among themselves only. You people can trade with other countries also. Yes or no? So, when any contract will be made where many countries are involved in the contract, out of which few countries are WTO members and few countries are non-members of WTO. This contract between members of WTO country and non-members of WTO country, these contracts are known as plurilateral trade agreements. Are we clear? Done. So, these are the 16 WTO agreements what we have understood.